Along Wisconsin's northern coast, rivers draining the land flow into the cold, blue waters of the freshwater sea, Lake Superior. Their waters mix and mingle in shallow coastal wetlands called freshwater estuaries. Just as Lake Superior shapes them, the estuaries in turn influence the lake through the quality of the water they send her in a dynamic relationship that affects the people, wildlife, and plants of the region. Like a string of pearls, freshwater estuaries grace Lake Superior's sweeping shoreline. Each estuary is a unique treasure, a pearl, connected by the waters of Lake Superior, and each tells a story best shared by the people who cherish them. Intertwined with the neighboring St. Louis River, the story of the Nemadji River estuary has as many dramatic twists and turns as the river itself. Early travelers of Lake Superior knew to keep the Nemadji River, Ojibwa for left-hand river, on their left when coming into port to avoid being grounded in its shallow estuary at Eloise Bay. This watershed's red clay soil gives the Nemadji its characteristic color and its tendency for erosion and flash flooding. Despite its muddy appearance, the water quality is excellent for fish and wildlife.
The Nemadji River was a very important resource for early development. There was a lot of logging activity that took place in the upper Nemadji watershed, and the Eloise Bay area was a perfect place to capture the logs and put them into a large area that they referred to as log booming areas, because the logs came straight down the Nemadji. They didn't have to be risked out in transportation out on Lake Superior. And the south end of Eloise Bay, which now when we look at it, it's all relatively undeveloped. It looks like it may never have been developed, but back in the latter part of the 1800s, there was a large sawmill operated by the Empire Logging Company, and the whole bottom of the bay is probably covered with slab logs. Today we use the Eloise Bay area for a large amount of recreation. We have the shipping interest still readily there. The Duluth Superior Port is the largest Great Lakes port. It's primarily with coal and iron ore and somewhat grain. So the importance of water transportation has not changed in this area. Now we're at a point where people no longer remember what we had 30 years ago. They don't remember the floating sludge mats, they don't remember the fish kills, they don't remember the stench that we had off our rivers below paper mills and wastewater treatment plants, because all those things have been taken care of and repaired. We now have a resource that has gone from one of the most severely degraded resources to one that is prized by virtually everybody that lives on its watershed and uses it. In 1992, we had a large railroad derailment upstream near the Highway 35 bridge at the railroad trestle, where a railroad car fell off the trestle and landed smack dab in the middle of the river, and it caused a large release of materials containing benzene and other aromatic hydrocarbons as a pollutant.
The spill forced the largest evacuation of a population center in United States history. However, it was the Nemadji's tendency to flood that saved the day. An intense rain began shortly after the spill, and the Nemadji River flushed the tainted water downstream, away from populated areas, into the estuary, and out to Lake Superior, where the chemicals were broken down by sunlight and evaporation. While wildlife and fisheries sustained damage, human tragedy was avoided. The estuary has since recovered. Another twist in the Nemadji's story occurred in January 2003, when a pipeline near the river ruptured, spilling some 90,000 gallons of crude oil on the frozen river. Once again, environmental disaster was averted, as the ice effectively sealed the river from direct contamination, allowing it to be more easily cleaned up. Invasive species upset the natural balance of Lake Superior's estuaries. Zebra mussels, rough, and the round goby threaten native fish populations. Purple loosestrife and Eurasian water milfoil crowd out native plants and reduce habitat.
We have a reluctance for people just to put money into environmental protection because they don't see the problem that we had 30 years ago. So we've done a great job as humans living on the shore here to first come in and really muck it up, and then finally come to a point of recognition that we've really damaged an important resource here and we have something really valuable that we can restore. We've restored it, and now we're at a point that I'm not sure everybody is aware just what we've achieved and whether people are willing to put the money and resources into maintaining it.